Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heart-Based Business Show. I'm your host, Dr. ShirleneReeves, and we're here every Wednesday to bring you some really good information to support your business and uplift you so that you don't feel like you're working alone. That's not what we want at all. We want you to feel like you've got friends out there that are supporting you. And believe me, I am one of them. And today we've got a really interesting topic. I love it because we have an expert that's going to talk about fragrance. She's an expert for 40 years, a really long time. And this is her business. And she's going to talk to you all about fragrance and what the problems are that we might have. Like, one of my challenges is I have allergies to fragrances, and I can smell what I have an allergy to when I put it on or when I smell it in the bottle. And then also sometimes it's so strong when I get out of an elevator and somebody's been in the elevator, I can't breathe. And we're going to talk to her about that because I always feel like I don't have my perfect scent. And for years, 40 plus years, I've been looking for my perfect scent. I've tried rich ones, that are so expensive that I got in Paris. I've tried the cheap ones. Nothing seems to work for me. So we are going to bring on an expert. She'll answer my questions. And if you have questions, put them in the chat so that she can answer yours as well. But in the meantime, I will be right back. Let me just warm us up with our introduction. Welcome back to our fabulous topic for today. And if you weren't there in the beginning, we are talking about fragrance today. And my guest, as I said, has been in this business for 40 years. And she's created fragrances for major companies like Tiffany's and Burberry and others. And now she creates custom fragrances for individuals. And she's out in New York, and I'm going to go out and receive an award in December from the International Association of Top Professionals. And I'm going to go and see if she can create a fragrance for me. So let me introduce you to my guest today. It's such an honor to have her because she too has won awards with the International Association of Top Professionals. And what an honor to have her on the show. Sue Phillips, welcome. I'm so happy you're here with me so you can answer the questions we all need answers to.
Thank you for having me, Shirley. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me, Sue, how did you get into this in the first place? What made you decide that you were going to do fragrances?
I've always loved perfume, and as a little girl, when my mother went out at night, she would spray fragrance in the air just on her, and she would go out and the fragrance in the air stayed, and it really reminded me of her, so I never felt really alone. And years later, it's just serendipitous that I was landing up getting a position at Elizabeth Arden, and it was to be the National Training Director for Fragrance, and so it was a wonderful opportunity to learn about fragrance and to teach fragrance as well.
Wonderful. Fabulous. So let's get into it, okay? I want to know one question. Whoa, this is a good one. I want to know why when I go to the department store or I'm standing in this fabulous place in Paris where I've been, or in London, I was just there a year ago, December. I keep forgetting it's a whole year since I've been able to travel. I try the perfume. I love it when I'm there. And then I get home and I can't stand it. What happens between the store and home?
So fragrance is formulated with a really interesting composition. We call them top notes, middle notes, and base notes. And the way a fragrance is formulated is that the top notes are the light, bright, citrusy notes that lure you in, that are bright and sort of very uplifting. And then as the middle notes start to emerge and mix with your body chemistry, those are the florals, some of the spicy notes, and some other ingredients. And then you have the base notes, which are the deepest, longest lasting. And so what happens between the top notes, the middle notes, and the base notes, there are some ingredients in there which you don't smell in the beginning, and it only emerges once you've worn it for a few hours. And so that could be an issue where you don't know what's going on in the store because you're just smelling it right there and then. But when you go home, those other fragrances, ingredients emerge as your body heat warms the fragrance. So that is what we call the olfactory pyramid, the top notes, middle notes, and base notes. What I really love is a fragrance that's linear, that's the same pretty much from beginning to end, so that you don't get those surprises of, oh, what did I just buy? It doesn't suit you. So that's what we do. We really help create a linear fragrance, which stays the same pretty much from beginning to end.
Yeah, because at this rate, I'd have to stay in the department store for 2 hours for it to get to the bottom note, right?
Right.
And then why are some so excruciatingly strong that, like I said, when I'm in an elevator, I can't breathe. I feel like I'm being asphyxiated. What is that about?
Well, it's all about the ingredients. Think about this. Certain very light citrusy notes like lemons and limes and oranges, they're light, they're volatile. They don't have the depth and the heaviness of, say, woodsy notes or ambery notes or spicy notes. And so what happens is some of the ways the fragrances, again, are formulated are to have a fragrance that might be very bold and strong and woodsy, or very beautiful and floral with a lot of floral notes like gardenia or rose or jasmine. And depending on the strength and the volatility of the ingredient will depend on how it, really affects you, or whether it attracts you or it affects you.
Excellent. Wow. I never thought about that. Okay. So when you are preparing fragrances, how do you go about deciding which fragrance to choose? There's so many to choose from.
You're so right. Think about this. I always like to compare fragrance to art and music. In art, you have 3 primary colors, your yellow, blue, and red. Think about those secondary and tertiary colors and the myriad of colors that are made from those 3. The same is true for music. You have 8 notes or an octave. Think of all the magnificent pieces of music that have been created from those 8 notes. So the same is true in perfumery. You have 8 main fragrance family ingredients: floral, citrus, woodsy, spicy, musky, chypre, animalic, and herbaceous notes. And those are a lot to think about. So out of those 8 families, thousands and thousands of fragrances are being created. And it depends on your personality and your olfactory personality, what fragrance families appeal to you. So we actually have a scent personality quiz that people take so that they can understand what fragrance family they like.
I remember when I was in college, I wore patchouli oil a lot.
Patchouli oil, so that is part of the base note. That's really heavy. It's it's very smoldering, rich, and but warm. It is a base note, and it's warm and leathery and quite strong.
Very strong, yeah. And I'd have to lean it out with other oils so it wouldn't be so strong. Just a base oil to put with it, so it would be on the lighter side. But it's the only thing I've really worn for any length of time. Now, you say that the perfume reflects the individual person. And is that because of the chemistry?
I think it's because of chemistry, it's because of lifestyle, and it's because of your individuality. So let's say, for instance, you're an outdoor type. You love going to the beach, you love tennis, you love going to walks, you go hiking. What kind of fragrance do you think that person would like? a light, bright, citrusy one, or a very exotic, bold, spicy, or a heavy, deep one?
I was going to say something woodsy, maybe. So would that be bold? Which one would that be?
So outdoor, natural, it certainly would work. Light and refreshing and citrusy to make you feel, uplifted is one option. But knowing one's lifestyle and knowing one's sort of life, what you do, whether you're sporty or casual or sophisticated, will determine the type of fragrance you want to choose. And it's really interesting because when people take the scent quiz and they don't know really how to sort of justify or communicate what fragrance family they like, but when they take the scent quiz and we evaluate it, it's actually spot on, and it really does reflect one's individuality and personality. And the other thing is that when you wear a fragrance that really makes you feel wonderful and reflects who you are, people comment and they give you compliments. And there's nothing better than having a compliment when somebody hugs you or greets you and they say, Shirley, you smell amazing. What are you wearing? It is so palpable. It's so wonderful to have that compliment because you just feel more and more positive and confident as you're greeted.
I have never had a compliment like that.
We're going to fix that. We're going to fix that.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. So you're saying that you have a quiz. Is that quiz online?
Yes, it is online.
Oh my gosh, that would have been a good thing for me to put up. If you, what is the URL for that?
Yes, it's centerprises.com.
Okay.
And then /quiz. And if you go onto the website, Centerprises, my website, it says start the quiz. And it's a fun quiz, and you take it in 3 to 5 minutes, and it's interesting to see what it reveals.
Yes, I'm sure it would be. I'm going to go do it as soon as we're off the show because I'm very anxious. So can you do sexy and outdoors? Can you combine that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because, everybody has a multifaceted personality. We're not sort of one facet. We are, we have so many different facets to our personality. And that some days you want to feel a little sexy, a little frivolous, a little sensual, a little exotic. And so those facets should be really addressed. And so you can find something, those notes that'll make you sort of bring those areas out into the open and reflect those moods and those emotions that you're feeling that particular time.
Now tell me something. What was it like to sell your fragrance to Tiffany's and Burberry? I bet I would have been dancing out the door. How did that work?
Well, I didn't sell my fragrance. They actually hired me to develop their fragrance.
Okay.
I was actually recruited by a headhunter who got the recruiting position to hire a head of fragrance marketing for Tiffany, and I got the position. And Shirlene, it was such a wonderful, it was so exciting to be called by a headhunter, to be told what the name of the company was, and then to be able to really help position the fragrance for this very iconic brand. Because again, as a marketer, and I'm sure you understand that when you're marketing and you're positioning whatever it is, whatever product it is, you really can't infer your options and your subjectivity. It's got to be appropriate for the brand ethos. And whatever we did had to be appropriate for the brand. And so it was a luxury, iconic American brand. And it was a privilege and an honor to have created that for their 150th anniversary. And if you'd have told me growing up in South Africa that I would be one day responsible for creating this iconic brand, I would have said you're crazy. But see, wonderful things happen.
And how's it selling? Do you know? Do they still have it on the market?
No, that was launched for their 150th anniversary. It did very, very well. And then ultimately they brought out other fragrances. And then they decided that they were not in the fragrance business. They were in the luxury sort of jewelry and accessories market. And they licensed the fragrance to Coty, which is interesting. And last year, or the beginning of this year, apparently Tiffany has now been acquired by LVMH. So it'll go back to being a luxury brand.
Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. So are they going to change the name? Or are they going to keep Tiffany's?
Oh, I'm sure they'll keep Tiffany. I mean,
yeah, I can imagine that they would.
No, it'll be Tiffany for sure. I mean, they're never going to change that, but it will be acquired and owned by a luxury company who will, I'm sure, restore its luxury image.
Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. So you have a new book out. I'd love for you to talk about your book. Would you mind sharing it with us?
I would be honored to, and I will hold it up. It's called
The Power of Perfume.
How to choose it, wear it, and enjoy it.
Perfect, perfect.
And, you know, I've always wanted to write a book. I love writing. I've written articles over the years about fragrance, and just because I love to write and it's a subject matter that I know about. And when I thought about writing this book, I wanted to launch it last year, and it was supposed to be launched last year. And then COVID happened and everything got delayed. So I just launched it. It came out, I think, last week on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. And it's just a wonderful sort of discussion and subject on different aspects of fragrance. For instance, in the table of contents, there are, you know, when you can't smell, you can't taste either. I talk about different aspects of perfume vocabulary. I talk about where to wear it, how to apply it, why certain fragrances are called perfume, why certain fragrances are called cologne, the difference between those. So it's interesting reading, it's informative, it's light, it's not very heavy reading, but it is very, very informational. And I think people will really enjoy it because I'm answering all the questions they've asked me over the years. Okay,
so what the heck is toilet water? Is it out of the toilet?
So we have to go back to France for that. So in French, the word perfume is parfum. And that is the most concentrated form of perfume. It's the reason that it's called perfume. There's a whole nother story about that, but I'll start with the perfume. So perfume is the strongest, most concentrated. The more you dilute it with water and alcohol, it becomes less concentrated. So then it's eau de parfum. Then the less concentrated is eau de toilette, and the least concentrated is eau de cologne. And eau de toilette came from the French expression se faire la toilette, to do your toilette, to make your bath, to make your ablutions, to prepare yourself. So the French expression is se faire la toilette, to do your toilette, to get ready to go out. So it's really a bathing ritual. It's nothing to do with toilet water or in the toilet water. It's to do when you make your toilette. Toilette is a French word for the bathroom, to get ready, to be beautiful and get yourself ready. And so that is the French expression. So you have the perfume, eau de parfum, eau de toilette, and eau de cologne. And people sometimes think that cologne is for men and perfume is for women. Mm-hmm. The only difference between perfume and cologne is the strength, is the concentration. Perfume is stronger, more concentrated. Cologne is lighter. And it comes from the town of Cologne in Germany, or Cologne, where they actually first started making the fragrance for 7-Eleven in Düsseldorf, Cologne. And that was the address of the place where they made the cologne in Düsseldorf. So they called it for 7-Eleven Cologne.
That's really interesting because I was under the assumption it came out of France. I didn't know it came out of Germany. That's a very interesting point. So what else can we learn in your book?
So you can learn really about how fragrance was made and discovered, the history of fragrance. Do you know what the word perfume means?
No idea.
So the word perfume comes from the Latin, meaning perfumum, meaning through smoke. prepared through fumé or fumum smoke. And in the ancient Egyptian rituals, they would make sacrifices to the gods. They would put on an altar of wood all the elements that they wanted to offer to the gods. And then they would light the wood, and they would light these objects of reverence for the gods. And through the smoke wafting into the air, through the smoke wafted the beautiful aromas from the wood and from the essence. And that's really the start of the word perfume, the history. And it started in ancient Egypt, and it went all the way through Greeks, the Romans, the Macedonians, the Middle Ages, up to France. And France actually became the perfume capital of the world for a number of reasons. And if you'd like to know why, I can tell you.
Well, I guess that's why I thought that's where it came from, it is because of that.
Well, France became the perfume capital in about the 17th century because a little town near Paris called Grasse, Grasse, had beautiful fields of flowers, and it was a very robust area, very fertile, and there were cattle roaming around and beautiful fields of flowers, and they had to do something with the cattle, and they took the hides of the cattle and they softened them with chemicals, and the chemicals were so harsh and pungent. Well, fortunately, they had all those beautiful fields of flowers, lavender, rose, and the workmen, the leather good, the people making the leather, and the sort of the townspeople who were actually in the factories making the leather goods, realized that they could actually extract the oils from the flowers, and through a whole bunch of technologies of enfleurage and extracting the oils from the fragrance, they were able to mix the fragrance oils with the leather and the chemicals to make scented leather goods. And that's where the expression walking hand in glove comes from. They gave to Catherine de Medici scented leather gloves.
Wow, that's beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. So what would you say if a person wants to purchase a fragrance? Where do you start? There's so many to choose from.
And now there's so many places to get them. It used
yes.
to be the name of the department store. Well, now, thanks to digital technology, you can go online and you can buy fragrances anywhere and everywhere. I think the situation is not to be lured by the most popular fragrance du jour. When I say that, I mean, don't be lured by, oh, well, this is the latest fragrance by this celebrity or this designer or this rock artist. You really have to find a fragrance that suits your personality, and it's tried and true. There's might be a lot of testing. And that is why, one of the things that I have always said to people, why wear what everybody else wears when you can really literally create your own and wear your own signature scent that makes you feel positive and confident and just, unique.
I think it's not only the brand names, it's the bottles they come in. I think people pay a fortune just for a bottle. You know what I'm saying, the holder.
The packaging is important because that's what you house the fragrance in. And, we live in a visual world. And of course, visually, we want things to be attractive. So the visual aspect is important. So what gets people to the counter or to a fragrance to buy is the visual and the sort of the advertising, the marketing, and all the hoopla that goes with it. What makes people come back is the actual fragrance itself, the actual juice, because that is really what really helps deliver a beautiful experience and a beautiful aroma.
The other day you were showing me some beautiful packaging. Do you have any next to you?
Yes, I do actually. I have.
Would you mind showing us what it looks like? Because I know what it looks like, and it's so yummy.
So
I can't wait to go to New York. Yes.
So this is, I happen to love innovative packaging, and I love the fact that this is interactive. I call it my twist and swivel. So you twist it, you swivel it, and it's actually refillable. So you can actually refill the fragrance, and it comes in different colors and different sizes. This is a lovely rose gold or bronze.
Pretty.
This
yes.
is the black and gold. It comes in black, beautiful brushed black. And then also I have little sizes. These also are great for being, portable. Putting it in a man's jacket. They're also very refillable. It comes in the gold and the silver. And what I really love about these is that I have created sustainable packaging. I really don't have to have packaging that you have to throw away. So in the large ones, I have these lovely sachets, these purple, gold, and black sachets. So you can use it afterwards to restore jewelry. You don't have to throw things away. Everything is recyclable. Everything is reusable and portable. And I think sustainability is important. And this is also something that I'm creating, which I will give you a sneak preview. This is a gift set.
Oh, beautiful. Wow.
And what I love about this is the fact that it's very unique because it is a spray. You can actually spray it. And you can also rollerball it. You can also do a rollerball.
Oh, so you have one on each end? Oh, interesting.
One on each end. And so this is something that I'm creating for, every facet of your personality, fresh, floral, woodsy, spicy. And then this one for the two could be one for her, one for him, one for day, one for night. So those are the fun products that I'm coming up with, because I think that, first of all, portability is important. You don't want to carry around heavy bottles. And, choice, variety is important. So sometimes you want to spray and sometimes you just want to put a little discreet fragrance, and you can just roll it with a roller ball.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Now, I want to tell you, we're running out of time here. We always do. It happens so fast. I just want to tell you that, remind you, if you want to take the quiz, it's centerprises.com/quiz, right? And then this is the address where you can get her new book. And I imagine it's just going to be phenomenal. It just came out, so I haven't even had a chance to read it yet. So yes, so go and get it. That'll take you right to Amazon, and you can buy her book there. I'm just so impressed with what you're doing, Sue. It's so interesting.
Well, I love what I'm doing. And the other thing that I wanted to mention before we finish is that fragrance is very important to me, and memory and fragrance are very connected. So a percentage of my book sales will go to Alzheimer's Association, because, when you lose your memory, it's terrible. And sadly, my mother suffered from dementia, and I raised a lot of awareness about Alzheimer's through fragrance. So I do many, many fundraising events. When people lose their sense of smell, we try and trigger their memory back, with the sense of smell. But through COVID, people have lost their sense of smell and taste. And it's devastating when people can't socialize and they can't taste food, so they really retract. So our sense of smell is really important. I urge and I really invite people to really think about the power of fragrance in their lives.
Yes, and it says a lot about who you are. And Sue's going to have some classes coming up that we were just talking about. So we'll be talking about that in the future. And Sue, I just want to thank you so much for being with me today. This has been very enlightening. I had no idea how rich the perfume world is. I had no idea. And the impression that it can make on people just from the sense of smell. And I can imagine if it's your own fragrance and nobody else ever has it, then you'll always be identified with that fragrance. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Talk about a memory peg.
Yes, and when people ask you what you're wearing, you say, it's me, it's mine, c'est moi, it's mine, nobody else can have it.
I love it. I can't wait to get out to New York to come and see you.
I can't wait, and this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been lovely to meet with you, and thank you to IAOTP for this wonderful, the fact that we've met together, been introduced on this platform.
And for those of you who don't know, IAOTP is the International Association of Top Professionals. Thank you so much, Sue. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I always appreciate it when you're here with me. It means so much to me. And, I come from the heart, And I know if you're here, you do too. So have a wonderful week. I will see you next Wednesday at the same time, and we'll have another fabulous guest on the show.